Hey kiddos, this is the Heart Hospital Challenge. You're going to be learning about the circulatory system. You're going to be doing some coding and researching informational text. So I'm making this video so you guys can have clarification on the problem and the challenge, including the criteria and constraints. So there's no confusion on what's expected of you. And if you're confused, please come watch the video as many times as you need to in as many parts as you want. So remember, through the challenge, our essential question is how can understanding the circulatory system guide us in our everyday choices? So we're going to be thinking, I want you guys to be thinking about getting your minds wrapped around health care and well-being of yourself. So here's the problem and a little background information for you. The circulatory system is your heart and your blood vessels, and it's essential to keeping your body functioning. This finely tuned system carries oxygen, nutrients, electrolytes, and hormones throughout your body. Interruptions, blockages, or diseases that affect how your heart or blood vessels pump blood can cause complications such as heart disease or stroke. These complications can arise due to a variety of factors, from genetics to lifestyle. The Heart Hospital has hired you, a biomedical engineer, to create an interactive educational tool they can display in their hospital so their patients can educate themselves about the system and how to prevent disease. Here's your challenge. Use biomedical engineering skills to create an interactive simulation to teach about the circulatory system and common diseases that affect that system. Okay, so we're going to go over the criteria and constraints. And before I get started, I just want to let you guys know that this is the page that you really is going to be like your checkoff list as you go through the challenge. And I also want you to think about on your team dividing different tasks for different people so you guys are working parallel to each other and not everybody is doing every single thing because there's no way we'll have enough time for that. So you do have to think about dividing and conquering this challenge together as a team and also communicating well with each other so you are informing, you're helping the others learn your part of the challenge. All right, so to get started, you guys are going to create a life-size poster of the human body circulatory system. I'm also going to add in there the respiratory system because I think that you guys need to have the lungs in here for sure. So we'll add respiratory system to that too, at very least, make sure there's lungs on your poster. You guys are going to use an Ozobot to take the students or whoever the viewers are of this display on a tour of the circulatory system. So Ozobots are your hands-on coding. This is where you guys are, or a couple of people on your team are going to take the black marker and you're going to actually draw a path to each one of the labels on your display. So at each label, that Ozobot has to have a coded animation. So what you need to do is you need to look at the animation you want, then you're going to pick the colors, whether it's green, red, orange, or yellow, and you're going to code just how it is on the chart. Now be careful not to overlap the black and the color marker. So we want the black to stop, your code to be right where you want that Ozobot to stop and animate, and then your black line to start again at the other side of the color code and go on to the next label. Okay, hopefully I didn't confuse the heck out of you on that one, but you're going to see as you go through it what I'm talking about. All right, so your simulation must include a common circulatory system disease. So there's a link in Google Classroom where someone on your team should be researching. So you don't have to take the time to go out and find the articles. I found them for you, and I found kid-friendly reading. So you can either read it yourself or you can have it read to you on the site to learn about different diseases that are very, very common. And remember, we talked about one of the big problem that we really have is that heart disease is the #1 killer of men and women in our country. So this is information that is critical for your future and your health to understand. All right, so there must be an interactive piece where patients can learn how to prevent a circulatory system disease and calculate their BMI if they are at risk of heart disease. So this piece right here, I need to be a little bit more clear. I should go in there and type it up as well. This is where you're going to create your QR codes. So you need 2 of them. So you need to have someone on your team who's in charge of the QR codes. Basically, you're going to have to create a QR code for the article that was just read about the circulatory system diseases. No, you don't need to do that. I'm sorry, that's a mistake. One QR code is for checking body mass index, and one QR code is for the solution to the problem. So there's another article. So someone needs to read how to prevent this and what do you do if you do have something going on with your heart or your circulatory system or even your respiratory system. But this is more focused towards circulatory and heart. So how do we stay healthy so we don't get these diseases? Someone on your team needs to make sure that they understand that. There's a link in Google Classroom. That's where you go. You will find an article on how to prevent those diseases. And then you're going to turn that article, after you've read it, you're going to turn it into a QR code that's going to go onto your simulate or your display. So that's one QR code. So anybody walking into the hospital can just scan it and they can read the website that you directed them to. Okay, so it's like a directory. You're just going to send them to that website. And the second QR code is the body mass index QR. That's where they could take a test to see what their body mass index is and if they are at risk for heart disease. So hopefully that made sense. In a nutshell, a patient can walk up and say, hey, let me test my BMI. Oops, I'm at risk. There's a solution to the problem. There's my other QR code, and then they can read it all right there on their phone. All right, so that's the techie piece for you. Okay, so next criteria. All right, so your poster has to be labeled with parts of the system that include informational captions about each part of the system. So those are printed out for you. So each of the labels you need to put into the right place. You need to paste it down with some glue onto your display. And this is where your Ozobot code should be somewhere next to your caption. So basically you're taking the viewer's eye, whoever's looking at your display, and you're taking them on a tour from one part of the system to the next part of the system, and it stops, it does an animation, and it brings the viewer's eye to that caption where they can read about that particular part of the system or the body. All right. Hopefully I'm not blowing your mind by this time. You guys are going to love it. It's a lot of fun, and it's not quite as complicated as it looks. All right, you guys ready? All right, let's go to some constraints. So each person in your group must contribute to the challenge. So everybody has to have a part. Use that checklist over here to the right to make sure that happens. You guys are going to present your project using a video and posting to Flipgrid. So after you create this, you're going to film yourself narrating it, just like I am, but you're going to be using a camera, probably on your Chromebook, maybe your phone or my phone, so you can film that project. But you guys have to be speaking and explaining as that Ozobot moves around the body, and you have to be explaining the QR code. So whoever's in charge of whichever part, that's the person I want to see speaking at that time that robot goes around. Okay, so you guys have 4 class periods to complete this challenge. That is a major constraint. Yes, it is. But I would love to see the team with the most effort that's going to really put out a good quality product, because I would really like to connect with the Heart Hospital. I've already had one conversation, and if we could put out some worthy work, then this is something that maybe we could make a reality, and this could just be our prototype that we could actually maybe get it funded to do it and really put it in the Heart Hospital. So wouldn't that be amazing? All right. So lastly, you can only use materials given to you by me. So we have, there's not a lot of materials involved. Mostly it's going to be paper, pencil, lots of drawing, pen, coding with the pen. So, and your Chromebook, you're going to need camera, you're going to need, yeah, definitely need your Chromebook. So this is what I suggest here. Take your Chromebook and get a model of the circulatory system and respiratory system. So find a Google image of that, and then put it right next to the team who's doing the drawing. So whoever your artists are, that's what you're going to want to go off of, some kind of image to be able to draw out that system. Now, just do your best. Use pencil on the first day. So day 2 of the challenge, you should have that done by day 2 of the challenge. So your team is really needs to be on top of, be very motivated and get things going. So the rest of your team can come in and do their parts, whether they're doing the coding or they're tracing with or coloring in, or doing the QR codes or all of that stuff. Just have fun with it, and I know that you guys will, and I know you're going to learn a lot. It's going to be super fun, and just stay motivated and use good teamwork skills. Work together, because the teams that work together always make the most progress. I know you guys can do it, and